Can you hear me okay? All good? Okay, great. Fantastic. Hi, pleased to meet you. My name's I hope you're having a good day so far. Um, and you're feeling all prepared for your interview. Great, great. Okay, I'll give you a rundown of how the interview is going to work, and then we'll get started with some questions. So, good stuff. Okay, so as you might know, I'm an interviewer for companies specializing in technical interviewing and making it fair and objective. We've partnered up with to help them interview engineers. So in this interview, my goal is going to be highlighting a few of your strengths to interview. Now, my background is I've been working in software for 11 years, and I've worked in the audio industry and in the finance industry, which is a bit of a strange mix, but that's the way it turned out. The interview is going to last roughly an hour. We'll start off with a 1-minute summary of your technical background, followed up by 10 minutes technical questions, and then we'll move on to a 45-minute coding exercise. If we lose any time because of technical difficulties, we'll add it back on so that you've got the full time for the interview. Okay? Great. Okay, if at the end of the interview you don't feel like it's been a fair representation of your skill set, then we offer a no questions asked redo opportunity. All you need to do, if you want that, is to let us know within 24 hours, and we can get you scheduled in at a time of your choosing to complete the redo interview. If you don't want to do it, then no worries. Now, the interview's been recorded. Any questions about the format? Okay, so if you just want to take a minute then and tell me a little bit about your technical background. Okay, let's get on to some technical questions. So if you want to draw your attention over to CoderPad, we're going to be using that for this part of the interview. I've got a few different topic areas for you to look at. Okay, let me know if you need me to repeat anything. Yeah, so just draw your attention over to CoderPad. I've got a few different topic areas for questions for you to look at. Take a look through these. I need you to pick for your first topic for questions, either production issues or system internals. And then for your second topic area, you can pick whichever one that you want. And I'll ask you questions on these two topic areas that you pick. Production issues. So one of those two. Okay, great. And then for your second topic, you can pick anything else. Okay, great choices. So we're going to start off with 3 questions about system internals, and then after that we'll move on to 3 questions about object-oriented design. We have exactly 10 minutes to get through all 6 questions, so just aim to budget your time accordingly when answering these. And then if I feel like you've given a complete enough answer, I might interrupt you and just say, okay, we can move on, so that you can make the most effective use of the 10 minutes. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm starting the 10-minute timer now, and here's your first question on system internals. So can you tell me what a thread is and what a process is? Okay, great. And then what are some techniques for sharing information between processes, and what are some techniques for sharing information between threads? Cool. Okay, great. Let's move on then to another question. So can you tell me what a heap allocated variable is and what a stack allocated variable is? Okay, great. Let's move on to another question then. So can you tell me a bit more about garbage collection and how it differs from traditional memory management. Okay, great. So elaborate on that a little bit further. Can you give me an example of where a garbage collected model might not be appropriate? Okay, cool. Let's move on to questions about object-oriented design. So here's your first question on object-oriented design. Can you tell me what composition is and what inheritance is? Okay. How can you add some functionality to existing objects? Okay. Let's move on to another question. So can you tell me what dependency injection is? And after you've defined it, tell me some of the benefits of using it. Okay. Let's move on then to another question. So you've written a new collection class. You'll have to document it so that other developers know how to use it. What should you write down about the behavior of the class, apart from the method signatures, so that other developers use it properly? Okay, great. That's the end of the 10 minutes, so we'll finish the questions there, and we'll move on to the programming part of the interview. At the top of the coder pad is a button which says Markdown. Please press that and select whichever language that you'd like to use for the interview. Okay, great. Now there's a Run button appeared in the top left-hand corner. Please click this so we can just check the environment's working. Great, that's good. Yeah, so you can run your code as many times as you need to during the interview. If you need to get information out for debugging purposes, please use console.writeLine statements. Unfortunately, that's the only way to get information out in this environment. And then if you need to look up any API calls or syntax, feel free to do so. But just let me know what you're searching for so I can follow along with your thought process. Great. Okay, so this part of your interview, it's only one part of the overall process to see if you're a good fit for the role. And today we're going to be assessing your foundational coding skills and focusing mostly on how complete your solutions are. We care to some extent about optimality, but the most important thing is to write working code that solves whatever problems that we throw at you. Okay? Great. We're going to start off with one problem, and then we'll move on to more complex problems if you finish that one. And I'll keep giving you problems throughout the 45 minutes until we get to the full time. I'm here to help you out and to answer any questions you have as we go through the exercise. So don't be afraid to ask me for clarification if you need it, or if you're feeling stuck and you need a hint, I might be able to help you out with that as well. Okay? If you finish one, I'll give you another, and we'll keep going like that until we get to the full time. So I'm just going to keep giving you questions, essentially. Any other questions? Okay. So the theme for today's questions is black and white images. We've represented black and white images as 2D arrays, and we've filled it up with some data. So here's the input. We've got it in two different formats for you in C#. We've either got a jagged array, which is an array of arrays, which is these top ones, or we've got a 2D array format, which is using the 2D array syntax for C#. Now, in these images, you'll see that there are ones, which are representing white pixels, and zeros, which are representing black pixels. So all of these images you see are showing one black rectangle on a white background. For this first question, you're going to be dealing with this situation exclusively, so just having one black rectangle on a white background. And what I'd like you to do is find the coordinates of that rectangle, either in XY width height format or row column format of the top left and bottom right corners. Here's some examples at the top of what that output might look like. So that's the XY width height format. That's one option. or you can return the top left, bottom right corners in row column format, or the top left and bottom right corners in column row format. It doesn't matter which format you choose to return your results in, just so long as you are consistent with the way that you do it throughout your code. Here are the results that you can expect for the other test cases. And yeah, so that's the question. So how do you think you want to go about doing it? Have a think about this. And when you've got some ideas, let me know. We'll talk through your ideas first, and then after we've talked it through, we'll look at writing some code. No, you will not get that situation occurring. You will only get one rectangle coming in with on a white background. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay, sounds good. Feel free to start coding it up whenever you're ready. Yes, wrap up all your code inside a function. Yes, you will always get one rectangle in your image. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see about running the code and run the tests. I'll comment out the images which you're not using here. It looks like you're not using these ones. So yeah, let's call your code, compile it, and see what happens. Let's see what we get. Okay, looks good. You've also ran image 3 and 4 there as well. Uh, yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, it's all good. Yeah, you got the right result here. Okay, so what's the time complexity of the code you've written, and what's the space complexity of the code you've written? Okay. Okay, great. Let's move on to another question. So for this next question, I've got a slightly different image for you to work with. This image is still black and white, so it's still ones and zeros, but it contains different information inside it. So here we go. So as you can see, this image has got a few more zeros in it than before. It's actually got multiple rectangles inside it now instead of just having one rectangle. So you've got the one in the top corner here, this one just here, one going down here, one just there, and one in the bottom corner. So now what I'd like you to do is write a function that takes in this image as the input and returns all of the different rectangles in a list or an array or some suitable kind of data format to output. So here's the other test cases, and I'll paste in the full text at the top now as well. Give me a second. There you go. Okay, so there's the full set of test cases as well. So yeah, have a think about how you'd like to solve this one, and then when you've got some ideas, same as before, we'll talk through your ideas before writing code. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're correct there. You can't modify the input, so please go ahead and make the copy. Feel free to start writing your code whenever you're ready. Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that sounds fine. So, when you find the top left corner, how are you? I see. Understand how you're going to get the rest of the rectangle. How are you going to make sure that you don't get multiple rectangles from one? Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. That sounds like a working solution then. So feel free to start writing that one up whenever you're ready. Yeah, you can do whatever you'd like to do, whatever you want with your previous code. What do you mean by rectangle intersections? No, no. So, same as before, you won't get situations like that, which are a bit weird. You're gonna just get good input. All your rectangles are going to be separated by ones above and below them, and to left and right. Great. Looks good. Okay, so what's the time complexity of the code you've written? And what's the space complexity of the code that you've written? Hmm. Okay, so how does that change your space complexity? Yeah, I so I can answer that for you. You do need to include that. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, great. Let's move on to another question. And just so you know, we've got about 7 minutes remaining. So let's just try to make as much progress on this one as you can. So still working with images. I've got a different one for you to look at here. Um, this one has some other things in it. Hold on, it's not quite loading here. Here we go. So in this image here, we've got not just rectangles, but shapes. So we've got like an L shape of black zeros here. We've got a cross appearing just here. There's something which looks goes kind of down across and then has a block at the end. And then there's one in the bottom right-hand corner. So what I'd like you to do for this question is find all of the different shapes and return them as a list or array as you did before. So an example of what the output might look like, I'm just pasting it at the top along with the question text. And yeah, here you go. So here's the example of what the output might look like. And all you're doing here is just returning the coordinates of everything inside the shape. So this first one I've highlighted is just the little L in the top corner there. So that's the question. We've got about 6 minutes remaining now. How might you go about doing this one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Okay. Feel free to start coding it up whenever you're ready. Okay, so we're just slightly over the time now. I know you're quite close to your solution here. So I'm quite pleased to see the amount of progress you've made in writing this. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. So if you can draw your attention now back to the video chat, we'll finish up the interview. Hi, welcome back. Hello, hello. Can you yeah? Can you see me now? Okay, great. Hi. So just want to say thanks for taking the time out of your day to attend your interview. I hope it's been a smooth process for you, and it's been an enjoyable challenge working through the coding exercise. Good. Glad to hear it. Thanks for the feedback. Um, the recording of your interview is going to get processed and sent off. They'll get in touch with you about next steps. Do you have any questions for me before we finish up today? Okay, very good. Well, thanks very much for your time today and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. Okay. Bye now.